like super ignored it.
You should be
Permanently ignored it.
disgusted with you.
There is actually an entire thread as well on Total War forums, basically saying that like the people in general would prefer more of a relaxed tone to Warhammer music, such as music out of Lord of the Rings, as an example, and The Hobbit specifically. Quite a lot of people seem to think this way. So, what do you reckon?
Oh yeah, well that's the thing. I thought that there would be some kind of like you know, like Led Zeppelin had songs that were influenced by like The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. I thought that there might be some kind of things like that, or some kind of like, you know, just trance. Well, not trance, but thought there'd be some.
Lord of the Rings to me is either sort of like very more like elfy kind of like
a little bit more kind of instrumental almost.
But I thought there would be some similar stuff like that for Warhammer Fantasy, but then again, Warhammer Fantasy is horrendously dark as well, where it's like they basically killed everyone, like the entire universe.
Well, like it's like the Warhammer kind of universe. The fantasy one is grimdark fantasy, and the 40k is just grimdark sci-fi, where like it's a crapshot universe, and there's really no upside to living in there. Even if you are born with all the power, you'll still end up just being killed or used or just eaten by a demon or something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like chaos wins. Like the
chaos
demons
is like pretty
wins.
much an allegory for entropy, really. It's like you can hold it off for a while, but eventually it's just going to eat everything, and eventually the result in just return to the void of nothingness.
But even like the whole thing, it's called Warhammer for a reason. With like, I mean, everyone is just constantly killing each other. People are just cannon fodder, and like everything is just at war with itself. Which I think it's probably a good depiction of the future, because it's human nature. Because like even with the Emperor, we won't get into. We were getting too into Warhammer. This is turning into a fucking Warhammer podcast now. But back to the music. I was just talking about Bolt Gun. One of the ones that they're slightly different from it, where they do. It's like a parody of a country western song. It's a parody of I have Marty Robbins' cowboy ballad classic Big Iron. The one song from Fallout New Vegas. Apparently,
I'm going to have to listen to this because it sounds to me as if it's like a mix between metal and country, and that just doesn't seem to meld.
It's not even.
Well.
It's like a country western song. It's not a metal song at all.
Okay.
It's an actual.
What they've done is just taken that song and then replace the lyrics with stuff that kind of fits Warhammer.
Right. Okay.
Well, like,
that sounds real dodgy to me.
But like, that's what I was saying. Like between like those are kind of a little bit better, those parody kind of style ones. But then the rest of them, and not to be like too blunt, are your kind of style of it's death metal, but the lyrics are literally written in the same kind of style as like some kind of like 14 or 15-year-old trying to be edgy on Reddit would write. Or like a fanfic. It's like the blood of the emperor was raining down on my eyes, and I came in through the back door and shot him in the face. Roar!
Well, there was around the same time as fucking whatchamacallit, Boltor were going around Games Workshop. They had another band that they were after kind of getting on their record label, but it was Earache, called D-Rock. Did you come across those?
I did, but like to be honest, as I said, like when I was listening to all these, I'm like, they all give me the same vibe, and that vibe is they were the music equivalent of going into like a secondhand bookshop, going into the bargain bin, rooting for the cheapest book in there, and going, oh, a pulpy detective novel with the cover ripped off it, and it looks like it's a C-class book already. That's what they sounded like.
My God, it's brutal. That's it. I hope none of the bands are literally to be just like, oh my God, he's just like torn our whole lives asunder.
Well, that is the thing. Like,
the whole point though of being into genres at the end of the day, because it definitely wouldn't be my kind of sound in a sense. So even though I have a fairly eclectic, music interest, it just wouldn't be something I'd enjoy listening to personally.
And I would agree with that as well. Like, like after seeing all that death metal of any kind, it's just going to put me off. So like, even something where it's like, oh, I like Warhammer. It's like having a peanut butter and Marmite sandwich for me. I'm just like, no, I'm good, thanks.
I had a friend when I was like 16 who had like a death metal-esque band, and we went to see him like 3 or 4 times, and I just personally didn't enjoy it myself. So it really is a personal preference.
Yeah.
For the D-Rock, they're not death metal. You should listen to them. They're not good.
You should listen to them. They're not good.
You should listen to them. They suck.
Because I had to listen to them.
You see, I think the Games Workshop are trying to kind of cover their bases where they said, right, we got Bolt Thrower who are kind of like extreme metal and people that are like it, so we'll have to have something a little bit softer. So it was more kind of like hard rock, kind of bluesy. It just doesn't fit. At all.
No, it doesn't sound like it does at all.
It's like I listened to a couple. I totally forgot they existed. Because I think
they're
I had
that good.
I had their album. Like
they're that good.
Well,
you had their album and you forgot they existed.
Brian May played on 2 of the songs,
which is just bizarre to me.
Yeah, from Queen. So it's but like you
I love the fact that you had to add from Queen in case people don't know who Brian May.
Could be Brian May from down the road.
Brian May, the tile salesman.
Yeah, that is the only other Brian May that I know of. So in context, I think I'd get it.
No, it's Brian May. You know him well. He was the guy who did that astrophysics paper.
Yes, of course. Yes, in that context,
which I wholeheartedly disagreed with. Well, I suppose kind of like in similar kind of like vein as Bolt Thrower. Who I think Bolt Thrower are really, really good.
Yes, I don't disagree with you.
They're still on the go. And they're a well respected band.
Just not respected.
Silence all around.
Yeah, that's just not by
Silence.
You. But they were. I remember hearing them before. So we used to like mosh in the fella's bedroom and kind of like stage dive onto the bed.
You guys sound so
to
cool.
I'd be like
So
in the
cool.
realm of chaos, and then we go off and paint orcs.
I don't think I ever moshed correctly though, because I used to get so dizzy.
I don't think Wayne did either. I think Wayne described it. It just sounded like gay sex, probably.
It probably was.
Pretty much. We washed in a guy's bedroom and then we jumped on the bed.
Yeah.
I think you have that entirely correct, Mark.
Yeah. And then we painted orcs. It's like,
with our semen.
Were they life size?
They're about between 3 and 7 inches.
Yes.
You're ruining my memories.
The entire thing.
We Spider-Man each other.
Anyway.
Yeah. Poor Games Workshop.
What do you mean Poor Games Workshop? They've nothing to do with this.
They're trying to associate kind of like
each other
bad bands and
with your gay sex,
gay rape,
moshing on beds. Who said about rape? This sounds entirely consensual.
I wasn't into it.
Sounded like you were until now. I think you're just realizing, oh shit.
A moment of realization midway through your podcast.
This isn't hobby crafting. This is gay sex.
There's no tender love making when Bolt Thrower is playing in the background.
Yes, it's all fast and furious and frenetic. Too fast, too furious.
I got the new stuff off Games Workshop. Oh, some paints? No, Vaseline.
You won't stick many models together with that.
It's not.
It's for my torn asshole.
They're sticking other things together.
Just a quick note: this is not PG.
From the last episode, if anyone assumed it was PG, then
you were wrong.
So
go back and listen to previous episodes.
Some poor 12-year-old going, yeah, like Warhammer. What maybe Justin Timberlake did.
Yeah, what's Vaseline used for?
Yeah, what would 12-year-olds be listening to Justin Timberlake? I'm fucking getting old.
Hey, I didn't listen to Justin Timberlake when I was that age. I did not like him.
You were listening to Bolt Thrower too?
Yes.
Yeah, you were just listening to Bolt Thrower.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the main reason you don't want to listen to him now. You're just like, it's not because you don't like the genre. It's just like, you know what? I listen to him too much. It's just, it's like when you eat 500 slices of cheese in one sitting. You just don't want to eat cheese anymore.
Tell me more about this eating 500 slices of cheese in one sitting and your past experiences with it.
Don't worry about it.
I think we need to have a conversation if that's how you feel, Mark.
Just don't worry about it.
Because if you get sick of cheese, then, I don't think we
divorce courts are looming.
Well, you said you need 500 slices of cheese in one sitting, and then you tell me.
Okay, he didn't say, hang on, he didn't
say
how big those slices of cheese could be, so it could be just half a block cut into tiny slices.
No, it's like
Slivers.
American.
No, but you didn't specify originally, so
It's the cheese wars of 2020.
yeah,
It's
don't worry.
secretly
Once
after
this
turning to
podcast is
Charlie.
over, we'll discuss this more thoroughly.
How much cheese is too much cheese? There's never enough cheese.
Exactly. I'm on Laura's side here.
If you did like,
go on, Wayne.
the music, we can talk about the cheese on the cheese podcast.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
We should do a cheese podcast.
Indeed.
No, we shouldn't.
But if you didn't like bowl thrower, I take it you didn't like the bowtry.
No.
What? How could you not? They're excellent.
Did you know
well,
a little bit of a backstory in the bowtry? They were founded in 2000 as maggot cunt.
Maybe they should have stuck with that one. They might have liked
Before
it more as
changing
that
their
name.
name in 2002.
Did they change it to become more, appealing?
Yeah,
Maggot
probably.
cunt would have been more appealing to me.
But I think,
I agree.
to get that 12-year-old audience, like we were saying.
Yeah.
but like one of the founding members, and he's the current vocalist. He plays the guitar as well. He was a philosophy teacher, and they found out in 2010 that he was in debauchery, and they said either quit the band or you're fired. So he stayed in the band. Fair play to him.
I mean, like that's a bit harsh. Like it's a kind of a death metal band just singing about Warhammer. Like, whether you like it or you hate it,
It's all that they sing about is corn.
The band.
yeah, but
Boom, dick down.
The reason they probably changed their name is because if you Google their original name, not very nice things come up.
Hey, did you just Google it?
Yes, I did.
I was like, where's the band?
Images is not pretty.
But the whole thing with them, I think these are actually quite good. I really like these listen through them because they ended up turning into more of a kind of a what they called death and roll, where it's like death metal with a bit of a swing to it.
With like a rock and roll esque vibe.
I know what you mean by swing, but now I'm just thinking of like death metal with like actual swing music.
Oh, right, never mind.
Like 1950s swing style music mixed with death metal. I don't know, but I want to hear it.
So do I actually.
But these guys, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 albums out.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah, from the ones that I listened, which obviously didn't listen to all 14 of them, but Kings of Carnage is actually really good. It sounds an awful lot like Celtic Frost. And then some of the other stuff, I think, was Fuck Humanity, which is one of the other sounds a lot like Fear Factory, which I know you're not into that kind of music, but they're actually really good. And Mark, you have to listen to like Blood for the Blood God. I think someone, when I was reading up about him, someone described him as basically being the incarnation of Karen the Betrayer.
Okay. Jen's just gave me a quizzical look like, what's going on?
I don't understand most of the words that you just spoke.
Well, you see, he cast an ancient witch curse on you. And the only way to get rid of it is to go listen to the Debauchery.
I think I'll just stay this way.
No, you need to listen to Debauchery.
I will try.
Yeah. You should try actually just listen to kind of like an album at least 20 times.
How do I say this in a nice way? No.
And they kind of like you'd be walking around and you'd be looking at Mark and you'd be just filled with anger and hatred when porn kind of like starts coming through your soul.
I think I'm okay. I like liking Mark. I like it a lot.
But you like ripping him and viscerating him limb from limb even more.
Making a blood circle and, summoning demons into this plane of existence.
So
We'd
then
have to do that outside because I don't want that mess in the house.
But the demons are clean it all up when they take Mark's skull off to be placed at Corrin's altar.
Hey, look, they may be gods or they may be demons of chaos and war and blood and destruction, but they're your demons, so they'll do what you want. So, they'll go off and kill your enemies and also tidy up your house.
Oh, deadly. I want them to clean the house and do the dishes.
They
and
might
the garden. Sort that damn garden out.
They might kind of question your belief in the Emperor a lot, but just kind of go, yeah, clean the dishes and we'll talk about it afterwards. And yes.
Yeah, exactly.
He is a false god. Horus.
We'll have eternity, so we'll talk about it in about 100 years,
Or as Jen would probably be like, who the fuck is the Emperor? And I'm like, that's a good answer. I like that answer.
When you see,
I could charm anyone.
Even in Warhammer, you don't, like, when you're dead, your soul doesn't live forever. You can get torn apart and eaten by demons, and that's it. You just stop existing.
You're just gone.
Yeah, or you become a demon.
Or you become demon poo.
Actually, there was one band I came across that they seem to be associated with Warhammer very, very loosely. I think people in Warhammer are after adopting them for themselves. They're called Triari. And I think a lot of their songs seem to be more around about Italian nationalism and Roman kind of stuff, but there's stuff like about the sun